how's it going? Welcome back to Walkman Comics. My name's Isaac, and today I'm going to be bringing you another comic review. I know I've been doing these non-stop for the past, week. I mean, I did upload that update video, but, I've been doing a lot of these, because they're really fun. I've said that enough, haven't I? But it's true, though. They are really fun to make, and if there's one thing that we're gonna keep on doing no matter what, apart from the podcast, is probably gonna be this, anyway, I should probably get into this. So yeah, we're gonna be reviewing the New 52 Flash series, Volume 2. I promised you this, promised you guys this how long ago? I don't know, like 2 weeks ago. And yeah, I've been wanting to do this because, I reviewed Volume 1 of the New 52 Flash series. It's really cool. In short, I think I like that one better than this one, but, I don't know, I do like this one, though. A few things I wanted to clear up before I start this review. So, basically, some things that I didn't know or forgot to mention last time I reviewed this series was, Grodd is from East Africa, and he's not from another planet. I don't know. I just thought he was from another planet because I don't know anything about Gorilla Grodd. Also spoilers. Forgot to mention there's gonna be spoilers in this series. In this review, sorry. But it pretty much goes with any comic review. But anyway, there was also that other thing with the this thing where I forgot to mention this. I don't know why. Barry Allen can now tap into the Speed Force with his mind, and he can look at a bunch of stuff and be able to come to conclusions really quickly. And the first time he does that, there's loads of different frames of different stuff that he's seeing, and I really liked that. And I actually used something like that in a comic that I'm making called Claire and Luna. I should put the first issue up on the website. I'm gonna do that actually. But anyway, then the other one is that Brian Buccellato does not do the art. He writes the story. It's actually Francis Manapul who does the art, and he's also a writer, which is pretty cool. So yeah, he writes and does the art. That's pretty cool. That means that you get quite a lot of creative liberties when you get to do that. But towards the end of the comic, the art gets a bit sort of cartoony, or at least to the end of this volume, the art gets a bit sort of cartoony, and it looks a bit weird. I prefer the other art style that they were using, but I don't really mind. Basically, alright, so spoiler warning from here on out. If you want to read this yourself and you don't want it spoiled, then, see you later. Maybe it's not so bad if you don't care about spoilers, but whatever. I always need to say that anyway, just in case. But anyway, so he arrives in Gorilla City. What happens is there's Gorilla Grodd. They think he's a messenger. Some of the sages think he's a messenger, there's been prophecies about him. He's had the Speed Force, and then Grodd thinks that he should be a slave and stuff, and he manages to get out of Gorilla City. I think that all happens a little bit too quick, but I think the whole purpose of it was so that when it started there with the New 52, DC just wanted to be oh yeah, Gorilla Grodd exists in this universe, and he's probably going to exist in the future, just so you know. And yeah, he was there later on in that same volume, so yeah, they kind of needed to do that. But yeah, I think that all happened just a little bit too quickly. But so where was I up to next? Oh yeah, so it starts off, another thing I forgot to mention, Barry Allen faked his own death at the end of Volume 1, but the Flash still exists, basically. So people are pretty sure that Barry Allen is not the Flash, even if they even ever did think that in the first place. So but he still faked his own death though. So he's going off of a different identity right now, and what he did was Patty was kidnapped by some of the rogues, and there's one of them is called Weather Wizard. He can basically just control the weather, I think that's what he does. I don't know. It would be cool to see him go up against Storm in a fight. I want to see that now. Just Storm from X-Men versus Weather Wizard, that's cool. But yeah, he owns this drug farm, and Flash burns it down, basically. And the Rogues kind of hate him for that. And then, because, like, it's basically how they were surviving. But yeah, he saves Patty from the Rogues. And yeah, he goes to Keystone City with this other identity that he's going by instead of Barry Allen, because everyone thinks that Barry is dead. And yeah, he comes across Captain Cold in that bar that he goes to, and he's not in Iron Heights prison, like he escaped. And what happens is like another guy from the Rogues, Heatwave, appears, and like he's just really having a go at Captain Cold. Like, he's saying that like he did something against the Rogues, or like ruined the Rogues or something, and they have this fight inside the bar. Like, I'm not sure why they wouldn't take it outside, but Barry quickly turns into the Flash and like does this cool thing where he keeps on running around them in circles really fast to cut off the oxygen supply so that they both pass out, and then the cops take them away in a truck. And then what happens is Captain Cold's sister, let me see, I forgot what her name is. What's her name? Glider, that's it, that's her name. That's what she calls herself now. She like can go through walls, like she can vibrate through stuff just like how the Flash does. And yeah, she's alive, but she has like that sort of spirit form or something, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And then she saves Heatwave from the prison bus, but doesn't save Captain Cold because the Rogues kind of hate him, and she's a part of the Rogues. And then, yeah, basically, it ends in, like, just this battle between the Rogues and Captain Cold, and also the Flash. And then, what happens is, there's this, like, little sort of, what's it called, like a ceremony, I guess, in the city with Dr. Elias. I don't remember if this is back in Central City or, Keystone City. I think it's, I actually have no idea. But yeah, what happens is Glider goes there and manages to put some sort of shard in, what's the name? In Dr. Elias's heart, and it sort of gets one of his arteries and makes him like pass out. And like basically what happened was, like, when she was doing this, just time stopped, and then she disappeared, and then like everyone just sees the Flash there with Dr. Elias passing out, and everyone just flames the Flash for it. And where are my other notes? I have some notes written down. And then what ends up happening is, yeah, the entire gang of Rogues is going after Cold. And then it's around about that time, that's when the art gets super cartoony. And yeah, it's just I prefer the old art style, but I don't mind that. I just think it looks a little bit weird. And yeah, what happens is the Rogues sort of team up, and they try to sort of combine their powers into one, or like make themselves more powerful or something, and like they use this machine and it ends up exploding, and what it does is Heatwave just gets completely incinerated. Like, he just goes like whoosh, he's just dead because he's burned. Weather Wizard's emotions are controlled by the weather, so like I guess if it's raining, he'd just be really depressed, and then if it's sunny, he'd just be like super happy or something. I have no idea. Mirror Master, he gets trapped in the mirror world. Captain Cold is just like completely cold, like he can't, his body temperature just drops really low. And Glider, who's Cold's sister, she becomes sort of like a ghost, and like no one can see her, and she can like only like go through walls and stuff, and like her soul gets separated from her body, I guess. And that's all because they tried to combine their powers with the machine, and it like malfunctioned and blew up. And then like somehow it ends out with one last showdown between the Rogues and the Flash in the mirror world where what's the name, Mirror Master was trapped. How have I been talking for 10 minutes already? That's crazy. I lost track of the time. At least I get to have that ad revenue, you know. Anyway, yeah, there's one last showdown in the mirror world, and yeah, it's kind of weird. It's sort of like, because he was trapped in the mirror world, but like he takes Flash in there to be able to get rid of him, because the rogues kind of hate him for that. And then what happens is, like, at the end of that, just Gorilla Grodd's army just attacks the city, and it just has them all just arriving in the city, just like, hold on, let me see if I can find the page. I have the volume right here. Where is the Grodd? Gorilla Grodd, where is he? Oh yeah, yeah, just all the gorillas just appear in the city, just out of nowhere, you know, like they come in these like little egg-shaped things, like that fall from the sky, like kind of little spaceship things. It's just kind of weird, you know, but like that's the thing that they had to set up, I guess, like from the start. And then that sort of continuous story sort of ends a little bit, or it doesn't really end, it sort of takes a break from that, and it goes to explain Barry Allen's past when he was a kid, and it has where his dad was framed for killing his mom, and he was doused in chemicals and hit by lightning, and he went to hospital, and then like ran really fast and like manages to escape and realized he got his powers, you know, stuff like that, you know. And yeah, that's basically explains that. And at the end of the volume, it's just like, I'm the Flash, I'm the fastest man alive or something. I don't know. Let's see. Let's take a look. What does he say? I'm Barry Allen, the fastest man alive. I am the Flash. That's what it says at the end. And yeah. Out of 10, I would probably rate this volume 5.9. I'd give it a C minus, maybe a C. Yeah, I'll be generous, give it a C. And then yeah, it's definitely not as good as the first volume. I definitely like the first volume better. And yeah, will I pick up the third volume? Yes, I will, because I actually have heard I've heard that the Reverse Flash is going to be in Volume 3. Or, he's going to be in Volume 3. It's already come out. He is in Volume 3. So, yeah, I want to read that, because I don't know anything about the Reverse Flash, because my Flash knowledge, like, isn't really that good. And, like, that's the reason why, like, this is another thing this brings me back to, the reason why another thing I forgot to mention in the first episode. Like, the reason that I picked up this volume is because I wanted to catch up with, like, where the Flash is in DC Rebirth and sort of understand that a little bit more. And yeah, I wanted to start there because that sort of continues his story, and Rebirth sort of changes a lot of stuff. So yeah, I wanted to read that. And yeah, I do not regret that decision. That was this is a pretty good comic, but I would prefer something like what's something that's really good? Like, say, Green Arrow DC Rebirth. I'd prefer that, because that's a good comic. I really like that one. But anyway, yeah, unless there's another thing I wanted to say, that pretty much ends this off for me. Oh yeah, I want to see where they take Gorilla Grodd with this, because what I'm speculating is gonna happen is, like, he's gonna deal with Grodd in the first half of the next volume, and then the second half is going to be Reverse Flash, if he does exist in there. I hope they do something like they sort of introduce him, but he isn't dead, like he still sort of exists, like kind of like what they did with Captain Cold, even though he's pretty much gone by now. But yeah, I hope they do something like that with Reverse Flash, because he's a really important Flash villain in terms of continuity, and yeah, I hope they just pull this off well, because yeah, if they don't, then that sort of ruins the series, kind of. But yeah, the next thing from DC that I want to read is New 52 Green Lantern, and I'm gonna review that because yeah, I just picked that up last week, or this week, sorry. Yeah, I want to read that because yeah. I kind of like the New 52 now. It's sort of my new thing now. Sort of getting into that sort of part of DC, because I used to know loads and loads about Marvel, but now I know like loads and loads about DC. Or I'm sort of getting into DC more. Like, I talked about that in this podcast episode that we did about how we got into comics. And I've been talking for 15 minutes. Like, I need to stop this because the comic reviews go on for a long time, I've found. Like, I just end up rambling on about just any stuff. I should stop talking when I've said all of my notes, or I've like talked about all of my notes, because yeah. But like when I really like something, you know, I just talk and talk about it. I can't help talking. But I should end this off. So yeah, should you pick up this volume? I'd say maybe give it a chance, but if you don't feel like it, don't get it. Like, unless you actually want to get this, don't be like, yeah, I'll get this because I want to know more about comic book knowledge or whatever. Like, I still sort of enjoyed this. I'm not explaining this very well, am I? I don't know, maybe pick it up. If you don't want to, then don't bother. Like, if you slightly don't want to, but you slightly do. Like, if you sort of don't want to, but you still slightly do want to, I wouldn't really say get it. But yeah, it's a good comic. I'm not gonna try and bash it. Anyway, I should end this off. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. See you later.